Just because you've been blessed doesn't mean you won't face trials. This Sunday's Gospel is John chapter 9, verses 1 through 41. That's the entire chapter. In John chapter 9, Jesus comes across a man who was born blind. The disciples ask Jesus, "Why was this guy born blind? Was it his sin or his parents' sin?" Jesus replies, "Neither. It was so that the works of God might be made visible through him." Jesus then spits in the dirt. He makes clay, and he rubs the spit clay on that guy's eyes, and he tells him to go wash it off. The guy washes the clay off, and boom, he can see. That must have been a pretty awesome day for the blind guy. Okay, can you imagine your life changing like that? In an instant, everything is different than it was before. Now you'd think that from this point on, that guy's life would be perfect. Nope. Almost immediately, he goes from blessing to trial. Christ enters his life, and his life changes. He's blessed beyond imagination. And in the matter of a couple sentences, he's dragged before the Pharisees, where he's basically put on trial. The Pharisees accuse him about lying about being born blind. They drag his parents in, and his parents essentially abandon him. Jesus, who changed the guy's life, is accused of working with the devil, and ultimately, the man is thrown out. So here's the deal. And this is really important. I mean, really important. It's something that's too often missed. And when it is missed, it leads people's hearts away from Christ. Just because you've been blessed doesn't mean you won't face trials. An encounter with Christ, your conversion, it doesn't make you immune to trouble. Why don't we get this? Jesus says it over and over. In this life, you will have trouble. That is a direct quote. St. Paul reminds us, the Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ. If only we suffer with him, so that we may also be glorified with him. Did we forget that to be a Christian means to be a little Christ? Did we forget that our lives are supposed to be lived out for the salvation of others, just like Christ lived out his life for our salvation? St. Ignatius Loyola describes the Christian life, and he uses the terms consolations and desolations. Sure, in the Christian life there are periods of great consolation. There are periods when everything just seems to make sense, and it seems just easy. But there are also periods of challenge, times when nothing seems to make sense, and we can begin to feel as if we've been abandoned. In the story of the man born blind, we see this cycle play out in a sort of fast forward. It might have been easy for the man born blind to leave the Pharisees feeling that Jesus had abandoned him. But the story goes on to say that Jesus heard of the man's trial, and he sought him out, and he said to him, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" Now the blind man replies, "Who is he that I might believe in him?" And then Jesus reveals himself to the man, "I am the Son of Man." This man's experiences, blessings, and trial, and then after the trial, God reveals a deeper truth about who he is. The same is true in our lives. We'll go through periods of blessing and trial, consolation and desolation. But through each, if we cling to Christ, his glory will continue to be revealed in our lives as we personally come to know him more. And it will be revealed through our lives as we witness to the Savior who also suffered and who faced trial and who did so for us.